Hey everyone, Jared Sandler here with you alongside Carla Weiland, the president and CEO of Camp Summit, one of our grant recipients from the 2021 grant year, and so excited to be out here in Paradise, Texas, visiting Camp Summit. Carla, thanks so much for having us.
Thank you for coming out today. It's a nice day at camp to be here. So
I feel like it's a perfect camp day. A little bit of sweat, some water, activities. It's awesome.
It's awesome. This is what we do.
What can you tell us about Camp Summit?
Well, Camp Summit is a camp, as you know, a residential camp for children and adults who have disabilities. So our campers come to us with either an intellectual disability, a developmental disability, a physical disability, or maybe 2 or 3 of the above. And they just come to camp with the expectation to be able to do whatever it is they want to do here at camp. So all the normal activities that a camp has, and we simply adapt what we do to the needs of our individual campers.
What does a camp like this do for these kids, these adults, the range of folks who will attend Camp Summit?
You know, it's really pretty amazing to sit and watch what camp will do for anybody coming to camp, but particularly our campers. So often they're told they can't do things, or that they cannot participate in things, or things aren't accessible. But they come to Camp Summit where everything is accessible. There are no barriers for them, and all barriers are removed. So even, being able to do an activity like archery or sports and games or, swimming, those kind of things. And we can remove all those barriers so that anyone coming to camp, if they want to, they can participate in every activity. So they're getting that part of it, the excitement and building on what they can do here at camp, but they also get the camaraderie and the friendships and the leadership that come along with camp anyway, but in their own way. So, we see that a lot with the formation of friendships within the cabin, and how from year to year they want to come back with the same campers, because they've made friends. They have made those friends that they see maybe only at camp, and they want to be able to come back and have those times together again with each other. On top of that, they're learning independence. They're learning to advocate for themselves and to do things on their own that maybe they won't do at home. A lot of that has to do with the staff that are encouraging them and teaching them that they can do these things. What we like to say is that it's always a yes at Camp Summit. So.
I know an organization like this always relies on the support of the community. How did the grant from Sandlot help Camp Summit to maybe give people an idea of what some of the camp's needs can be from time to time?
Sure. So we wanted to enhance our sports program last year, so that's what our grant helped us to do, and we were able to start a pickleball program here at camp.
We just walked right by it.
Yeah, we did, and they're having a great time as we went by, and so it was a wonderful new addition. We weren't sure how our campers would like it, but they have gravitated towards it. They love it. We also enhanced our imagination playground equipment, which is this giant, it's almost like giant tinker toys that campers can put together and make into whatever kind of formation they want and play with it. So it's a great hands-on. It builds their creativity, their ability. It's not only fine motor, it's gross motor. So those with any of those kind of issues won't have that. That's removed. So they can build whatever they want, and whether that's something they can imagine that it's a vehicle or it's a building or whatever it is. It's just fun to see what they come up with those things.
I'm talking to you, I know that, as much as you get community support, you still need people who want to come out here and be a part of the camp, not just as campers, but as staffers, because you need staffers to be able to support, the most amount of kids
Absolutely.
possible. Why should people consider coming out and working at Camp Summit?
Well, that's kind of the back side of things. Our campers love it here, obviously. Their parents love it because they get some respite when they're here at camp. But our staff that come and work for us are amazing. They're young people, 18 to 25 generally, that just have a heart for working with the population that we serve. So, but they leave here, and almost every single one will tell you when they leave, camp changed them. That they grew, that they have a whole new understanding of individuals with different needs, that they, have learned new skills themselves. They've learned to negotiate. They've learned to lead. They've learned to collaborate with others. So it's a great experience for our staff. We have staff that come back years later and say, it's the best job I ever had. So hardest job I've ever had, but best job I've ever had.
This is our first time out at Camp Summit, but I attended a fundraising event last fall. And when you go to these events, you can tell if it's just a bunch of people who are at tables and no one knows who anyone is. But what struck me was the community. There were campers who had been coming to camp for years and years and years, and it just seemed like it was a reunion of various families brought together by one single family, which is the Camp Summit family. And I'm just curious what that community means to you, and maybe more importantly, what it means to the campers and how it helps them in achieving all their goals.
You know, it's interesting you'd bring that up, the camper and staffers relationship, because it really does linger on for years to come. You know, many campers will talk about a counselor that they had 10 or 15 years ago and how important they were to them at that time in their lives, and how they really helped them become the person who they are today. And that's true for our staff as well. We have a great alumni kind of social media presence where they will talk back and forth amongst each other, and you can really see how that, you know, they might have a problem now with their child. You know, how do I solve this? It's not anything that they'll probably go to other parent groups, but they reach out to their Camp Summit alumni group because they know those people have worked with them through many times, difficult times, and so they may reach out to them and ask them for help and support. So it's a great community for our campers, for our staff, and for all of us that work here with Camp Summit, because like you said, when we're at our fall event, most of the people there have some tie to Camp Summit, and if they didn't before they came, they do now. And they really get that feeling. We try to incorporate as much of that feeling as we can into everything we do, because it tells the story. Our campers will tell the story better than any of us ever can. You know, it's the spontaneity of how they can express what they're feeling about camp.
Well, we appreciate what you and the rest of your team at Camp Summit do. We're so privileged as a charity to be able to support an organization like Camp Summit. People want more information, where do they go?
They go to www.campsummittx.org.
Pretty simple.
Very simple. So,
Carla,
and we
thanks.
appreciate Sandlot so much too. It has really made a difference in all of our campers' lives, as we're going to see here today, and see how much they've been enjoying what you all have done for us.
Well, we appreciate you. Thanks so much for having us out here.
Thank you.